He is welcoming you to Newswatch tonight as we bring you news that made headlines today. My great pleasure. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign language together with me is Boniface Muredi. Newswatch begins now. Residents of Isiolo South Constituency, Mumini Ward, Evurore Ward and West Cabras Ward today went to the polls to elect their new representatives in the final 4 by-elections held by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission ahead of the 2027 general elections. And like in the November by-elections, violence and claims of voter bribery were witnessed. Vote counting by the IEBC officials is currently underway, and final results of all the mini polls are expected once counting is over. Jacob Ochiro begins our bulletin tonight.
After conducting their first ever by-election in November last year, the Erastus Thekon-led Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC has conducted its second by-election today in Isiolo South constituency and in West Cabras, Muminji and Evurore wards. In Isiolo South constituency, IEBC Commissioner Hassan Nur was overseeing the voting process across the constituency, which he evaluated as being largely peaceful. In Evurore ward, Mbere North constituency, violence was witnessed at Jarage Primary School polling station, where the agent of Democratic Party candidate Albert Kigoro was attacked by goons and Albert's vehicle was also vandalized. In Muminji ward, which is neighboring Evurore, former Embu Senator Lenny Kivuti spoke after voting, alleging that UDA team was carrying out voter bribery. In Kakamega County, West Cabras Ward, Malava Member of Parliament David Ndakwa alleged that DCP Deputy Party Leader Cleophas Malala had mobilized goons to disrupt the elections. IEBC has said that by 1 p.m., 45.74% of registered voters had come out to vote. The Commission has requested voters to remain calm as counting continues. Results are expected to be released once the counting is over. Jacob Ochiro, Hope TV, Nairobi.
All the very best to all the contestants there. Jacob Ochiro with that report on the by-elections. Now, as the National Assembly considers the 2026-2027 budget policy statement with figures projecting a proposed budget of 4.7 trillion shillings, economic stakeholders and civil society groups are warning that the government's math needs a reality check. At the launch of the Citizens' Alternative Budget in Nairobi on Thursday, experts argued that unrealistic revenue targets and a massive appetite for domestic loans are stifling the very mwananchi the state claims to protect. The stakeholders have also called upon the government to reconsider the annual financial bill, saying they do not inspire confidence in investors. Vincent Kerosi has more on that.
As the road to financial year 2026-2027 picks pace, economic experts say the National Treasury is driving with a blurred windshield. As per the budget policy statement, the National Treasury hopes that the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, will collect up to 3.53 trillion shillings, with the remainder to come from external and domestic borrowing. The message from the economic experts is clear: stop overprojecting and start prioritizing.
If you say our revenues, we are going to correct 2 shillings in terms of revenue, that's what you plan for in terms of expenditure. So the question that we need to be asking ourselves so that we are able to rationalize this is the whole question of making sure that our projections, and we have models. We have KIPRA, Kenya Institute of Public Policy and Analysis, who are the advisors, public policy advisor to the government. They have models which will be able to state that this is the amount of revenue as a country we can be able to generate.
Beyond the numbers, there is a growing concern over the legal gymnastics surrounding Kenya's tax regime. Stakeholders point out that the perennial shifting of tax laws is actively scaring away investors who crave predictability.
If we say we have a taxation proposal on exemption on industrial materials, let it be there for 5 years, because the manufacturer of that particular will have an assurity that in the next 5 years, I will work under this conditionality. Those are things that we need to, if we are making, and for sure I think this is something we need to propose. We have a sunset clause for our finance bill that we can say we will be able to change our finance bill in the next 3 years. That makes sense, because it puts our manufacturers or our investors confidence.
But perhaps the most alarming red flag in the current budget policy statement is the government's plan to fund its deficit. The National Treasury has set a domestic borrowing target of 890.4 billion shillings, dwarfing the projected external borrowing of 225.5 billion shillings. Economists warn that when the government mops up nearly 900 billion shillings from local banks, it leaves nothing but crumbs for the small-scale trader.
There are obviously challenges on the domestic debt, but I think progressively, with expenditure rationalization reforms, there is need to put government to pressure around cutting on expenditure.
With the budget policy statement now in the hands of lawmakers, the ball is in Parliament's court to decide whether they will stick to the National Treasury's ambitious script or heed to the call for more grounded, citizen-centric physical path. Vincent Kirosi, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thoughts to ponder there by Vincent Kerosi. Thank you for that report. Now, President William Ruto has today presided over the Kenyan Prisons Pass-Out Parade at the Prison Staff Training College, Ruiru Campus in Kiambu County, where he outlined far-reaching reforms aimed at transforming the country's correctional services and the broader criminal justice system. The head of state highlighted the proposed Correctional Services Bill, which seeks to modernize prison management and align it with constitutional standards.
It was a ceremony display of discipline, precision and pride of the Prison Staff Training College in Ruiru, Kiambu County, as newly trained officers marked the end of their rigorous training in a colorful pass-out parade presided over by President William Ruto. President Ruto placed strong emphasis on the ongoing reforms within the Kenya Prison Service. He spoke at length about the proposed Correctional Service Bill, describing it as a landmark piece of legislation that will redefine the management of correctional facilities in the country.
This auspicious occasion underscores the government's firm commitment to strengthening and transforming our criminal justice system into one that upholds the rule of law, protects rights, and advances progressive reforms to enhance public safety. As the country's latest cohort of recruits, you are joining a disciplined service whose mandate extends beyond the safe custody of prisoners.
According to the head of state, these changes are part of the broad agenda to transform Kenya's criminal justice system to make it more efficient and humane. He emphasized that correctional facilities must evolve into centers of reform and opportunity. President Ruto further assured officers that their welfare remain a top priority. He pointed to the ongoing effort to improve housing, enhance working conditions, and modernize prison infrastructure across the country.
In fulfillment of the government's commitment to the welfare of those who serve this nation, I have directed the State Department for Housing and Urban Development to build 28,000 institutional housing units for the Kenyan prisons. A dedicated portion will support the probation and aftercare system, ensuring our officers live in dignified and secure homes befitting their dedicated service to our nation.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen also addressed the gathering, reaffirming the ministry's commitment to strengthening correctional services, saying the planned reforms will boost professionalism, accountability, and service delivery within the sector while ensuring public safety remain paramount.
A country cannot be judged by how it treats its senior citizens, but how it treats the lowest in the society. Your Excellency, ile kazi unafanya kuboresha magereza, kuboresha wale ambao wanafanya kazi chini, inamaanisha kwamba unatimiza ile mpango yako ya bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Na sisi kama idara tunafurahia kazi yako, tunakushukuru Mheshimiwa Rais kwa mipango yote ya housing, ya health, ya mambo yote ambayo unafanya kuhakikisha kwamba hii idara na Wakenya wameweza kufaidika.
As the officers prepare for deployment to various stations across the country, today's pass-out parade marked not just the end of the training, but the beginning of a new chapter in Kenya's correctional service reform journey. Dolly Murikimbuvi for Hope TV.
Movies report there to the Association of Evangelicals in Africa, AEA. Today celebrated its 60th anniversary at a colorful event held in Nairobi. The Thanksgiving and celebration service was attended by various church leaders, with the chief guest being the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi. During the event, the association reflected on its journey, milestones, and paid homage to the visionaries who have contributed to their success across the continent. Alice Diana tells us more.
It was a historic moment for the Association of Evangelicals in Africa, AEA, today, as it marked 60 years of existence. The AEA, which was officially founded in 1966, is a Christian umbrella organization representing national evangelical fellowships, churches, and ministries across the continent.
That empowering people.
As it marks 60 years this year, the association has recommitted itself to deepening its quest for evangelicals in Africa united and engaged in effective ministry. Representatives from different religious organizations who attended the event congratulated the association for the great milestone.
Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion that can never be shaken. And we declare that as the mountains around Jerusalem, as the mountains around AEA and EAK, the Lord will surround us, both now and forevermore.
Celebrate AEA 60 years down the line is not a joke. In Africa, it's a grandfather already, isn't it? And AEA has given birth to many national associations and different institutions. And these we appreciate as All Africa Conference of Churches.
And Africa seems to be somewhere caught up in the uncertainty that comes with the shifts taking place. Yet one thing stands out: the church is growing fastest in Africa. And that is by data collected, the statistics professionally collected and published. This means that in the midst of what we see, the light that shines and darkness cannot comprehend it is beaming on the continent.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who was the chief guest at the event, acknowledged the impact the Association of Evangelicals in Africa has made in education and research.
We recognize the milestone of the Africa International University, which received its charter from the government of Kenya in 2011. This institution remains a premier center for leadership and development. From Africa Research and Resource Center, here in Nairobi, Kenya, is another key milestone development that will serve as a repository for other research centers across the continent. This will ensure research-led interventions and world-class research information, especially in an era where Africa has become an epicenter for the Christian faith.
Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Indeed, congratulations to the Association of Evangelicals in Africa, AEA, on their 60th anniversary. We take a short break at this point. We'll be back with more news items. Don't go too far.
For generations, men were taught that strength means staying silent. But what if silence is doing more harm than good? Why do fewer men seek help, yet struggle the most in silence? Can faith and mental health work together? Because seeking help is wisdom, why don't you join George Gishuru and our guests, Richard Masharia and Kahindo Gashago, on Men on Record, as we unpack strong on the outside, frail on the inside, with a keen focus on stigma around seeking help, emotional expression in men, and the cultural norms discouraging vulnerability. That's this Friday 7 to 8 p.m. live on Hope TV and Hope FM. Brought to you by Outspan Serenity Center, providing holistic mental health solutions.
Hi everyone, my name is George Gishoro, a presenter with Hope TV. Thank you so very much for continuing to support us by watching all our programs. Now, we would love to serve you even better. Now, we want to know where you are watching us from and the strength of the signal. You can scan the QR code and ensure that you answer all the questions in ensuring that you are getting us loud and clear with crystal pictures. So go ahead and fill in the QR code so that we can serve you better right here at Hope TV, where you look and live.
There's a world out there searching for hope, and you can help bring it home. By becoming a friend of Hope, you're helping us share the love of Jesus through Hope FM and Hope TV. With a donation of any amount, join hands with us to bring hope and point souls to the transforming power of Jesus Christ. Become a friend of Hope today by making your donation through the M-Pesa paybill number 933933, account FOH. For more information on how to become a friend of Hope, call 0116-212-723 or email customerexperience@hopefm.org or visit www.hopemediakenya.org. Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Well, welcome back for more news. Now, the government has announced plans to start hiring public servants on contractual terms. Speaking during the launch of the Public Service Commission Strategic Plan 2025 to 2029 today, Public Service and Special Programs Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku said there's a lot of unprofessionalism being displayed by the civil servants who are reportedly exhibiting laxity in their work, largely due to their terms of employment being permanent and pensionable. The proposed contractual plan, alongside other changes, are expected to be presented before the Cabinet, chaired by President William Ruto, next month.
A radical shift is imminent in the public sector after the Public Service Commission launched its strategic plan for the year 2025 to 2029 today. At the event, Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku announced that there is a proposed plan to put public servants on contractual terms.
As a ministry, as a government, we see whether we can have employees or public servants on contractual basis. You are given a contract of 3 years or 5 years. If you perform properly, you are given another contract of 5 years. If you are not meeting the contractual obligations, you go and look for another job.
Ruku said that the main driving force behind this shift is because the majority of civil servants who are on permanent and pensionable terms have displayed a lot of unprofessionalism and entitlement due to the permanency of their job.
But those who are permanent and pensionable, they retire at the age of 60, others at the age of 65. There are some serious levels of entitlement. You remember you are in this office until you retire, and therefore you can come to work at the time you want.
Due to the new population dynamics, whereby a majority of Kenyans receiving government services are youth, Ruku challenged the civil servants to begin making changes in how services are offered to serve the young people efficiently.
We must ensure we have a very agile public service. We must ensure we have a very innovative public service. We must ensure all the government services can be accessed by young people, by the Kenyan population, at the comfort of their rooms, at the comfort of their sitting room.
This plan is in the Public Service Transformation Policy that is expected to be tabled before Cabinet for consideration in March. Jacob Ochiro, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Attorney General Dorcas Oduor wants the High Court to dismiss a petition seeking to halt preparations for the 2026 National Prayer Breakfast, arguing that the case raises no genuine constitutional questions and improperly drags the judiciary into parliamentary affairs. The Attorney General, who is listed as the fourth respondent in the petition filed by lawyer Lempa Suyanka, says no cause of action has been established against her office. Others named in the case as respondents include the Parliamentary Service Commission, the National Assembly, the Senate, and the Commission on Administrative Justice. In the petition, Suyanka wants the court to stop the organization of the annual National Prayer event at a five-star hotel, saying the use of public funds for such a venue is unconstitutional. However, the Attorney General has argued that the petition does not demonstrate illegality, misappropriation, or unconstitutional spending, but merely questions the prudence of the venue and cost. Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti has delivered her annual State of the County address at the Machakos County Assembly, providing a detailed overview of the county's achievements, ongoing projects, and plans for the future. In her address, Governor Wavinya reflected on the unity and shared responsibility that has guided her administration over the past 3.5 years. She emphasized the importance of collaboration between the executive, members of the County Assembly, and the people of Machakos to overcome challenges and ensure inclusive development. The governor highlighted the progress achieved across all county departments, demonstrating her commitment to accountable leadership, efficient service delivery, and inclusive growth across every ward.
Today, I can report that despite the challenges, the foundation of Machakos is stronger than it has ever been. We have spent these years clearing the mess we inherited. We have spent these years paying the historical debts that were choking our economy. We have spent these years fixing the broken engines of government. We have moved from the state of stagnation to a state of unstoppable action.
The national government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening cancer care across the country with the near completion of a major cancer treatment center in Kisii County. The facility, which is expected to be completed by the end of the year, is aimed at reducing cancer-related deaths and easing the heavy financial burden borne by thousands of Kenyan families seeking treatment. Speaking during an inspection visit, Principal Secretary for Medical Services Dr. Omar Oluga described cancer as a major public health concern in Kenya. The project, which had stalled for some time, resumed late last year following a directive from the president. According to government data, more than 29,000 Kenyans die from cancer annually, with approximately 45,000 new cases recorded each year. At the moment, over 100,000 patients are undergoing treatment across the country. And for thousands of families in Western Kenya, this center represents more than just a building. It offers hope for early diagnosis, affordable treatment, and improved survival rates.
Government is quite keen to tackle cancer as a scourge in the country. We currently have more than 29,000 people who die from cancer every year, 45,000 people who are diagnosed every year. More than 110,000 Kenyans currently are undergoing cancer treatment. We have a big challenge when it comes to cancer response. We have 6 cancer centers in the entire country, as you know, that are government-led. Recently, you saw 2 days ago, we were assisting county governments of Nakuru, Garissa, Mombasa to also manage their cancer centers, because we as a national government, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, are quite keen to ensure that the problems that are affecting Kenyans are sorted out when it comes to health.
Political leaders have been urged to refrain from incitement and the use of abusive language during their political campaigns. Speaking in Bobasi during a United Democratic Alliance UDA grassroots mobilization meeting, former Bobasi MP Stephen Manoti said it is wrong for leaders to use inflammatory or disrespectful language while addressing the public. Manoti noted that the meeting brought together UDA members from the constituency to discuss party matters and receive guidance from the party headquarters. While reiterating their support for President William Ruto for efforts to stabilize the country's economy, Manoti, however, emphasized that Kenya is a democratic country with many political parties, and every leader has the right to present their agenda to the people.
Deputy President, he should have a proper language to address the people. Yes. Those people whom he was talking against, they are leaders elected by the people of Kisii. Yes. He should know that those people are there on behalf of the Kisii's people. Yes. So it was unfortunate that one to come from him. He's a leader, he can go anywhere, but let him choose the language he's using when he's addressing the people. We are not discriminating anybody. There is a multi-party in Kenya. Everybody is allowed to talk what they want on behalf of himself or his political party. Yes. Yes. As leaders of this country, we don't want to incite our people. We want our people to listen to what the leaders are saying. But the leaders, they should use the proper language. I think that is what we want to tell anybody, any leader in Kenya, to use the proper.
Into some global news now, the president and CEO of the World Economic Forum, Borge Brende, has resigned after the forum launched an independent investigation into his relationship with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The WEF opened a probe into Brende and his relations with Epstein, and the investigations has now concluded with findings showing that there were no additional concerns beyond what has been previously disclosed. A recent batch of documents in Epstein's files showed Brende arranging to meet the financier at Brende's home for dinner in New York in 2018 and 2019. Epstein was arrested in 2019 in the U.S. on sex trafficking charges and died in July that year. Brende said he was stepping down after careful consideration, and the Board of Trustees will oversee the leadership transition to identify a permanent successor, with Swiss businessman Alois Zwingli serving as interim chief and president. We're looking at business news now. Small and medium-sized enterprises have been urged to take advantage of the digital economy by selling goods and services through websites to reach clients beyond Kenya. Addressing industry leaders, policymakers, and regional partners at the Domain Summit Africa, ICT and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kafogo, the two-day high-level B2B engagements has been convened by Helmut Smes-Konis, the founder of Domain Summit, and Kenik TLD, Kenya's registry of the .ke country code domain. CS Kafogo has maintained that a vibrant domain ecosystem will enhance security, innovation, job creation, and strategically position Africa in the digital space internationally.
We are living in a period of rapid technology change. AI is reshaping industries. Digital commerce is crossing borders at scale, and cyber threats are becoming more sophisticated. In this environment, the question of digital sovereignty, how nations manage and secure their online presence, requires deliberate attention. Country code top-level domains sit at the center of that discussion. They are not technical abstractions. They are sovereign digital assets, are strategically important in today's economy as roads, seaports, and telecommunication infrastructure. The .ke domain is Kenya's digital address to the world. It underpins our electronic commerce platforms, digital public service, financial systems, startup ecosystems, and the emerging digital services of tomorrow.
National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi has mounted a defense for the launch of the National Infrastructure Fund, stating that it will ensure investment and completion of development projects in the country. Speaking in Kobongo, Kisumu County, CS Mbadi dismissed the opposition claims that the funds were another avenue for corruption, saying it is through the Infrastructure Fund that the government will finance various development projects such as roads and other important national installations that are needed for the growth of the economy.
Which were taken all the way from 2013, even before we got into government, loans were being taken. And you know, mnajua ni wapi hiyo pesa ilienda. Si mnajua? So because we cannot borrow more, and because we cannot tax Kenyans more, we want to create a national infrastructure fund, which is already in Bunge. We want before the month of March ishe, we are done with that bill, and already we are raising money. Next week, I'm getting money for KPC, 106 billion, and I'm getting money from Safaricom, 244 billion. Tutaweka pamoja kwa National Infrastructure Fund, then we will do Korusoin, we'll do other dams in the country, and we will also do our airport, which is stuck. And we do other things which can bring economic growth.
To sports now, Kenya's golf calendar is set to welcome a new fixture as the inaugural Invest Kenya Golf Tournament IKGT tees off on the 27th of March at the Muthaiga Golf Club. The tournament, which will be played in a stable-fold format, is expected to attract approximately 200 players, including local and international corporate players and selected professional golfers from Kenya's expanding golf scene. Hosted at the Muthaiga Golf Club, one of Africa's most prestigious championship courses and home to leading international tournaments, the event is being introduced as a strategic event of the Kenya International Investment Conference, KICO 2026, and will serve as the sports contribution to the conference week, creating an environment where competition, networking, and national visibility intersect. So we wrap up Newswatch tonight. Many thanks for your company as we brought you this newscast. It's been my pleasure. My name is Melissa Oduor, together with Boniface Moredi on the sign language. Have a good night.